Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Ruff Diesel here, and today I got a special guest. One of the best guys I've ever seen with posing, and his latest routine was fantastic. Like I was there in person, and I got chills. I don't normally get chills. Introducing Jarek Crew. How you doing, man?
What's up, bro? I appreciate you having me on, man.
Of course, of course. Yeah, man. I've done a lot of posing breakdowns myself, and it's not very often I really get a chance to do something like this with somebody else. I was thinking about doing some of the routines from the past, but after seeing yours, I was like, let me go ahead and hop on and start with something fresh and something new. Uh, but first, I got a couple questions for you. Um, a lot of people have a hard time with posing, especially when it comes to routines. I think that's like the epitome of like posing. Like you can usually get your mandatories in check, your transitions in check, but to do all of that stuff while syncing it really well with music is difficult. So my first question was like, kind of what's your process when it comes to making routines?
So, the first thing that needs to be set in stone, which is going to be the foundation of your project, is going to be song choice, song selection. I'm not the one to choose a song and to just put a routine to it. I kind of like have to feel it. Like I have to really feel the song track, and I think that when you have that authenticity within your routine and the energy is there, it almost allows you to put together this whole process a lot easier. And then you actually get to have fun with it and actually love the whole process. And I think that that's extremely important. You know, a lot of times I see guys, they just do a song because they like it, not necessarily because they're feeling it when they're posing. So that's two different things. There's a lot of songs that I like and I bump to when I'm on the way to the gym or whatever, but it
Yeah.
doesn't mean I can post it. You know what I'm saying? So, I have guys hit me up in the DM, hey bro, you would do good at this song track. Or, hey bro, you should do this one. I'm like, all right, I check it out, I check it out. And 9 times out of 10, bro, I never choose it. Like every routine I've done has been just like me coming across the song and like, oh damn, I feel this.
Do I
It
the
may
same way?
be, yeah, and it may be a place and time in my life that gives that nostalgic feeling. It may bring back memories, stuff like that, and it evokes some sort of emotion that drives the movement. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the first thing. And then after that, I just listen to the song over and over and over again, like literally like all day. Like in the gym, I'll put on the song track. I listen to it throughout the entire training session. I just listen to it till I'm tired of listening to it, and then I'll just not listen to it for like a few weeks. Then I come back to it, listen to it again, and then the ideas start to spur. You know what I mean? And start come up with ideas within, like in my head. And I remember you told me one day, it was a while back. I was like, "Man, how do you put together routines? Like, what do you do?" And he was like, "Man, honestly, bro, I kind of put it together in my head, and it never really like hit me until now. It's like after doing this for so long and really like honing in on posing and routines, you start to build a skill set to where you can literally imagine the routine in your head and then perform it.
Yeah.
So I'll say about 60-70% of that routine was literally created in my head, and then I just kind of manifested it. So that's kind of like my process now. So I'll listen to the song until literally I know every single word of the song, and then I'll allow the ideas to kind of just float, and I'll pick and choose what I think will be cool, and then I'll obviously run through a few rounds. I would say I practice my routine. I started practicing my routine at like 5 weeks out, to be honest.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I was curious about
Yeah,
that.
yeah, about 5 weeks out.
It
Because I
doesn't
already
really
had it
take.
in my head just like over and over again, and I'm like, all right, it's time to actually do it. 'Cause I didn't want to go on stage like straight off imagination. You know what I mean? Because you never know.
Ah, dude. No, I feel like a good poser can make a good routine just freestyling, but you'll never. I don't think you can make a truly great routine just freestyling it. You know what I mean?
Hundred
Because you need
percent.
to have like the movements, like the way I watched your routine, like your movements matched up with the song very well. There wasn't any repetitiveness, and like a lot of times a good poser, if you're just freestyling, you're gonna hit those shots. You know how to hit those combos. You know how to hit, and it can start to
100%.
like repeat. You know. So no,
100%.
I agree.
Yeah, and you said it just right. I think that there's a few posers I can name, like Keon, JT. They're really good freestyle posers. They have their own different style. But when it comes to like the really minute, minuscule like things and details that really separate you and really kind of like those small things can really make your routine exponentially better.
Yeah.
You can't do that in freestyling. Like you
No,
just can't do that
no,
for
no,
duplicate,
no.
you know. So that's why I prefer routine creation over freestyling all day.
Okay. Okay. So it takes you. I was gonna ask time frame wise. It takes you like so you start working on it 5 weeks out. How long does it normally take you to have it like completely like ready to go?
Um, I would say I slowly start at 5 weeks out. I slowly start to piece it together. Then once I have the foundation down, usually within that first couple of sessions, I usually have the whole routine down.
Okay.
Then after that, it's about just throwing in those small details, listening to the songs and the small little crescendos and cadences within the song, and try to piece together those details within that routine. And I usually do that all the way through. So from 5 weeks out, pretty much that first week, I have the routine down.
Okay.
Second week, I'm just slowly polishing it up, making sure I'm hitting the poses like correctly in the way I want to hit it. When I hit it, because and that's another thing too, when you're doing your final routine, it's not like mandatory that you have time to kind of set up and you hit the pose. Like you got to be on point. Timing is everything.
Yeah.
So just mainly polishing of those poses, hitting it the way I want to hit it based on my structure and what looks good, and then those little small details. So that I'll carry that through all the way through to the show, essentially. And even if I like what it like, even if I like the routine and the details out there and everything's polished up, I still run through it at least once or twice, those last 2 weeks.
Hmm.
But I'm also now running through that routine in my head now with it
Yeah.
finalized,
Yeah.
right? So now I got all the details and things polished up. Now I'm taking that, I'm implanting it in my head, and now I'm running through it over and over again when I'm not even doing the routine. So there's still some practice there. People don't realize that still is practice. Like when you're imagining yourself doing the routine, and so even leading up to backstage, there were a few things I tweaked in my head before they literally called my name. And believe it or not, that spin was literally made up in my head backstage. That
Okay.
wasn't even a part of the routine. That spin into the rear double,
Yeah.
and you guys are gonna see in a minute.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just like, man, how could I make it better, 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 elite? That's kind of like my thought process.
No, I like it. So last question, because I know everyone always asks me this too. So like you say it takes you about a week to get it done, like all pretty much done. How much time do you average spend like working on each, like during each session, like each day, like an hour, 30 minutes,
Man, honestly, man, probably like 20 minutes.
20 minutes? Okay, okay,
Yeah. And
boom.
then there'll be some days where I'm like really in my mood and in my bag and I'm like run through it over and over again. So I would say from 20 minutes to about 45 minutes.
Okay, okay. I think that's good. I think that's plenty of time. Usually, if I go too long, like if I try to go really, really long, I start to like not feel it anymore, and I just like
Yeah.
okay, like
And
stop,
then and you gotta think about it too. I'm 5 weeks out. Like,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like, my joints is hurting. I'm like,
Bro,
I'm
I
thinking,
gotta find that sweet spot. You know what I mean? Like that sweet
yeah,
spot of where I'm like, I
exactly.
got enough energy, but I look good enough. You know? Yeah, that's you got
Exactly.
that 5 weeks, 6 weeks out time. It's probably around the time. You know?
Yeah, and that's not for everybody. Like obviously, me and you is a little different. I always recommend starting earlier, like 12 weeks out, for some
Mhm.
guys that are like a lower level. But
Yeah,
it shouldn't take no more than 5-6 weeks. Like to really put something together if you're a skillful poser or high level
yeah.
poser.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and get into it, man. I'm gonna pull it up. I'll share my screen.
Number 87 is Jarek Crew from Eastvale, California. Thank you, Jarek.
All right. So basically, the deal is you'll just tell me if you got something interesting to say, or if I got something interesting to say, I'll pause it and we'll
Yeah,
talk about it.
yeah. I'm gonna kind of just go through because I've never actually broke it down. I kind of
Okay.
just like when I look at my routine, I'm just like I gotta get emotional and shit, bro. Like this
Okay.
whole week I've just been super emotional.
It's all good. Big thing for me, man, is majority of my teams I do like to walk out like you are. It's very rare that I like to start on stage. I don't know. I just like the idea of like walking out. I feel like most routines it looks
Yeah. Well,
better.
here's the thing. I had to cut about the first 16 seconds of the routine because of the time slot. So
They even cut off the ending, right?
huh?
They cut it short, no, right?
So I got the DJ to just fade it out instead of just cutting it short. He faded it
Hmm.
out at the end, so I still had a little bit of time. You can listen closely. You can still hear the song still as it fades out. But I finished the routine. You know, that
Okay.
was the routine. But the first half was pretty dope. I couldn't really add it in. It was pretty dope, but it is what it is.
Let's see. Let me pause it. Let's turn the music up and start.
So we can stop here.
Okay.
So one thing that I really, really need to improve on is making sure my legs are connected
Nah.
in my routine. Now, this I think probably is the only set part right here where I didn't have my legs fully connected, and obviously part of it too is conditioning. But that really is like something that is a pet peeve of mine, bro, and that's something
Yeah.
I made sure to pinpoint when I'm practicing. I'm like connect the legs, and I looked at the video. I'm like, God damn, not the first, not the first pose.
The first photo.
Like,
Yeah.
gee,
All right. Yeah. Yeah, I see it.
yeah.
I really like that span, man. From front to back, how you did that.
Yeah,
Wish I could zoom scroll, but that was really really nice. And a really cool way to go from one side to the another smoothly. I like this too, man. Like I don't know what the word is. Like maybe interpretive dance. Like you're really
hmm
acting out like the words in the song. He says like um, so many thoughts going through my
yeah,
brain. So you like you set that up into a pose. It's really nice.
yeah. And if before we get into this part, can we bring it back just a little bit because I was trying to adjust my screen. Just bring
Yeah.
it back to that Nike pose. Right? Yeah, yeah. That's perfect. Start back.
This one or the next one?
This is perfect right here. So
Okay.
like this right here, his transition was like one of my favorites. Like when I'm doing a routine, I'm not only just like trying to figure out what pose I can hit and make sure that it's different every time, but how could I make a transition cool and different every time as well too. And I found like this was just so smooth, and it's crazy because like there's so many ways you can transition out of that pose, and but there's also like ways that are so simple but yet not that haven't been like hasn't been done. And I think that was so cool about this transition right here.
Oh, definitely, definitely, man. Let's see.
And then this build up to the Nike pose, I was like, how
Very
could I build up to the Nike pose in a way that's like kind of
not like
drives
it,
that
man. It's like
anticipation?
it was like an art, like kind of an archer, but kind of not at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like that was nice.
Yeah. Yep. You can pause there. So like, this is why it's important to listen to the music, listen to the lyrics, because the lyrics also kind of drive the ideas. It's not just the actual cadence and the beat and the song itself. Like the lyrics also kind of drive those ideas for you. So whenever you feel like you're stuck in a routine, listen to the lyrics too, because you can pull things and create some movement through just the lyrics itself. And so when he said, I'm taking this shot like it's Novocaine. So I was like, okay, put my hand out like it's a gun, but I'm not actually holding it, obviously. And then
Yeah.
transitioning to that side chest, nice and smooth, because just the way he said that part, it just created that smooth transition.
Nah, definitely, man. I definitely like that. Like, okay, there it is. This
There it is. Mm.
yeah. Very
Yeah.
nice. Yeah. And I encourage everyone to go back and look at these, really look at these poses he's hitting and the transitions and the footwork, because he had to do some really cool footwork to get into this position.
Exactly. Still be able to get the hammy to drop.
Yep. Yeah.
So it was a little tough, but we got it. Now, this is my favorite
That's
part
sweet.
right here.
That slide,
Oh,
bro.
you can pause
Your
that.
slides are really impressive, man. I mean, like you never know what kind of. I mean, this floor probably helped a bit, but like the slides look really, really smooth.
Man,
Um,
so believe it or not, and it's probably something I'm gonna do moving forward. The oil actually helped,
yeah.
bro. Like the
Nah, man.
oil helped because I got glazed before I went out.
Hmm.
I was like, damn, I didn't, bro. I promise you, I didn't expect to slide the way I did. And sometimes it's one of those things that when you're in the moment, you need those lights. Some things you just don't practice, and it comes to fruition just based off that moment in time. And it happens
Hmm.
to all my routines. Like in my head, it's one way, but when I'm on stage, it's just 10 times better for some reason.
No,
So
it
like
was.
I felt sliding. I'm like, holy shit! Did I just slide on my knees? And I just kept going, bro. I'm like, holy shit! The crowd was loving it. I was feeding off the energy, and then from there, I just turned up. Like I was like, okay, let's go.
Okay. That was smooth.
And that's the move that I kind of like thought about in my head backstage. I was like,
Yeah,
this would be way cooler than just getting to my rear double, because I was just gonna literally go from there,
and just
put that right foot back, and just you know,
that is much better, and it put you like it really showed you your awareness of where you were on
it's
the
exactly.
stage. Because like you would have ended up over here doing a back double,
Exactly. And
but
that
you
was kind of
seen
my
it.
thought process. I'm like, I'm still on the left side. How could I like shift that? And it's crazy because I landed right in the box, bro.
Yeah,
I looked
yeah.
at the video. I was like, holy shit.
No, really, really nice.
Yeah, this is my favorite part too.
That's that move there.
Yeah. And here again, it's just like the song, the lyrics is driving that, the presentation at this point. Because just from right here, the end all the way to the end, it kind of like was everything was just like from the lyrics. If you would really
Yeah.
notice when you know he said devil is a whore. And so I was thinking about angel at that point. And so that's when
Hmm.
I brought out the what's that pose again that I'm about to hit right now.
Oh,
The
the Icarus, I guess they call it. Yeah.
Icarus, yeah. So I was like, okay, let's be perfect.
No, it's really nice, and yeah, all of it. I really like this other transition you did. I think it's here, or maybe not. It was the one you did. This right here.
Yeah,
I really like that.
yeah. It's again. It's like, how could I transition to the back like that? Without it being like super choppy or just like dull.
And you don't
And
see that pose almost ever. I mean, you see that pose from
ah,
the other side normally. It's usually a
mhm,
back pose.
exactly,
It's
exactly.
really
It's
nice.
like a reverse, like Mike Menser, I guess if you want to say that, or a
Yeah.
back Mike Menser. I don't know. Then here's just one of those contemporary parts. What I find now is I like to create those breaks in my routine
Hmm.
from just like the posing and add a little bit more theatrics because I think it drives the audience back in.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
there's points where I reel them in, allow them to watch. They may fade out a little bit, and I reel them back in with those little breaks.
Yeah.
And I think it was perfect. That was a perfect part to do that and really show that emotion when he was like saying, "You said it." I really wanted to show it, and I know I couldn't show it in posing. I couldn't show that emotion in just like the actual posing. So I
Okay.
wanted to really, really, actually act that out, and I think it did really well. I kind of in my head that's how I wanted it to be, and it worked out really well because the crowd loved it.
Yeah.
Because like I
Yeah.
said, I'm just feeding off the energy, and every time I hear the crowd go fucking crazy, it's like fuck yes. Um, and then what's really cool too, when I pointed the second time after I like kneeled up and I pointed the second time, I actually pointed at my wife.
No.
She
Yeah.
was
I
from
know.
a
She was.
yeah, so it was like so dope to be able to
Yeah.
connect with her on that level while I was on stage. And obviously the song wasn't about her, and I could tell you about the song and why I chose it maybe after we break it down.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I wanted to include her because she's been such a big, huge part of this whole process, and being a mother and taking care of the home and allowing me to do what I do. So I was like, how could I include her in the routine? And it worked out perfectly, bro.
It's always nice when you could do something like that, man. And
Yeah.
like, no, I could. I felt a little uncomfortable. I was like, man, he over here posing for his wife, and we just spectators. But dude, it was really good, and I know she appreciated it.
Yeah, she loved it, man.
All
It was an
right.
emotional. It was an emotional night, man.
Let's
That was so dope.
I want to go back, like even like that slide, like a lot of
Hmm.
people wouldn't know how to hit it, and like I had to go back and watch it. Like, man, that was really smooth. What did he do with his footwork? All right, okay, here we go.
3/4.
You took that. You have to do that really quick step to get that
Hmm.
extra distance to make it look nice, but at the same
Exactly.
time, you have to really control that descent into that pose, and you did it like perfectly.
Yeah, bro. And those points, like those really dynamic points, those are points I really like had to like redo over and over again, like when I was practicing.
I
Um,
had to, I had to talk with my buddy, Roy. He switched from classic to open, and like he's having a hard time with like controlling his body, especially with like anything on the ground. And I told him,
mhm.
just like you're saying now, I was like, man, you really have to like, you can't just like flow nonstop. Like those hard transitions and poses, you need to like pick those out and just hammer those like nonstop till
Yeah,
you get
like
it.
literally, yeah, like literally, like you start the music there and you hit it, and then you restart the music there again. You hit it until you're like you've built the skills for that pose. It's pretty much just a skill that you got to build.
Yeah.
Um, because a lot of this stuff is like balance and coordination. And if you
Hmm.
don't if you never hit that pose, like there's no way in hell you're just gonna hit the first time and nail
Yeah.
it. You know.
100%, man.
Definitely, this was inspired by you for sure.
You say what?
This portion right here was inspired by you. I've seen you do something
Yeah.
like this, similar, but obviously I did a little bit different.
Okay.
I forgot what routine you hit. You hit that archer pose where you kind of reeled back and you pulled back. I forgot what routine that was, but
Uh-huh.
that definitely was inspired by one of your pieces for sure.
I appreciate it, man.
Hell yeah. That's when the
Boom.
song started faded. Yep.
Hit the
That was
crowd cheering. It's always the best thing, man. I was on the call with David, breaking down one of the shows the other day, and a guy was like doing this. I was like, nah, that's not how you do it, man. You pose, and if you pose well, you hear the crowd cheering.
yeah, man. That's my biggest pet peeve too. When I see a lot of those guys do that. I mean, there's exceptions too. Like Nick Walker, that's just his style. That's just like he's
Then
very
Walker can do it. Like
demanding.
if you a big
Yeah,
motherfucker, yeah,
yeah. Like that's like
yeah,
But other than that, it's like, man, you gotta let your posing speak for itself. You gotta let your presentation, speak for itself. And if you know what you're doing, you know how to reel the audience in, and you know how to create certain points that creates that energy that you can feed off of. It's almost like you got to feed yourself. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Essentially, right?
yeah.
And so like that's like a part of the process. And obviously, I'm not gonna get into detail about my entire process, but kind of gave you guys a rough draft. But those are the little small things that you want to have included within your routine. Is okay. How can you strike the audience? Are there any breaks to where it feels like you're just not going on and on and on and on? Like you need that. You need those breaks where you're kind of creating some theatrics, and a lot of that, was derived from like Lita Brada,
Yeah.
Muhammad Makawi. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to, if you really study these guys, like it's more to it than just like flexing and holding the pose.
Mm-hmm.
From just like your head movement, detail, your facial expressions, and just being able to be confident. Like I think that's a big thing too. Like a lot of people wouldn't like that. For instance, that break when I was like, "You said it." Like a lot of people would be fucking nervous as hell
To
until
do
you can
something
just
different,
stop
yeah.
and make it look cool and dope. So it's like a lot of confidence too. But you build that confidence from just repetitiveness. Like if you're not comfortable with you nailing your routine, you're not gonna be confident on stage. So a lot of times I tell guys like, "Hey, bro, just listen to the song over and over and over and over and over again, and do the routine over and over and over again. Like you have to, because that's the only way you can build the confidence."
I agree, man. 100%. The more prepared you are, the better you feel about it. A lot of times, yeah, my mom taught me that growing up real quick. But the same with,
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of Will Smith, man. Like, and if you've probably seen some of those videos of him talking about him on the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, and
yeah,
like he was so nervous that he learned everybody's lines. Like he learned the entire script just so that he felt
yeah,
more confident going into it. So I 100% agree, man. The more you practice something, the better you feel.
100%. That's like with everything. Like if you're about to do a motivational speaking event or you're speaking in front of people, like your ass need to be in the mirror and just speak. Like, and I
Yeah.
guarantee you, when you get there, you're gonna be like, "Oh, this is nothing," because it takes away the thinking out of it. That's where a lot of the uh, the lack of confidence and
Mhm.
uncertainty comes from. Is like you're thinking too much now. You're not even actually You're not actually doing the routine. You're thinking more than you're actually posing,
That's a good
and
point because people
yeah,
ask you probably get asked too, like, what do you think about when you pose? I'm like, I ain't really thinking about much at all, man. I'm just doing it.
I'm having fun, bro, and I feel the music even more now because all the movements are second nature. So you can even add stuff on the fly because you know what's coming next, and you
Yeah.
know what we're saying, and you know what the beat, how the beat is, So it makes it even more fun because your routine is not quite what you think it is when you step on stage. It's even better when you get to that point. So that's what makes it
Yeah.
more exciting for me because I'm like, damn, what am I gonna do when I step on stage? It's gonna be interesting because I know there's gonna be something I'm gonna add because I just
Mhm.
know the next step. I'm 10 steps ahead.
I love it. I love it. Anything else you want to add, man?
Yeah, so the song selection, the reason I chose this song, um, one is Post Malone was he's still kind of one of my favorite artists, but more so when he first came out, and these are one of the song tracks he came out with. that really hit home a while back, and I was actually going through my Instagram, and I had actually did a freestyle to the song. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do this routine. I'm gonna take this freestyle. I'm gonna create a routine out of it. I think only like the first 20 seconds or 30 seconds. Take this routine. I'm doing a whole freestyle. I'm gonna do a whole routine to it. I really feel the music, and and it was crazy because I was going through a rough point, a low point in my life. Like, you know, this past off season, I had took like unintentionally like 3 years off. People think I just took 3 years off to improve, but I was battling with, and I still am battling with SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, and it really put me in a depressive state. I didn't even know if I wanted to ever bodybuild again because I was so frustrated on what it did to my body from just like, eating foods like 5, 6 meals a day and post show rebounds where you're just going out eating all kind of bullshit. And over time, it caught up to me. Finally, I started competing in 2016, and finally it hit me in fucking 2022 after 6 years. And I'm like, wow. So I wasn't able to really do anything. I wasn't able to push gear. I wasn't able to recover properly. I wasn't able to absorb nutrients properly. Those of you who know about gut health, it's really difficult. I had like extreme dry skin. It fucked with my neurotransmitters, hormones, and shit like that. That's high estrogen because I wasn't able to detoxify. Liver was stressed because of just being backed up sometimes. And liver plays a role in just like bowel movement and bile acid flow. And so a lot of shit was just like on the downhill, bro. I was like, bro, I don't even think I'm ever gonna be able to step on stage again. Like, this might be it for me. So, the off season ended up being extended, running TRT the whole time. I didn't start cycling until prep,
Oh wow.
um, which kind of gave me some insight. I'm like, damn, I still made improvements on TRT damn near for 2 years, and and I was able to break through. Because I was like, bro, I told Cameron, I said, hey, man, I'm on edge, bro. And I think that if I don't just prep for a show, that I'm just not going to everybody with you. And he was like,
Yeah.
honestly, bro, that reward is much more worth it than, you prepping on SIBO. And I was like, yeah, I agree. I said, let's just do it. Obviously, the gut is a lot better when you have less food and when you're dieting. So, um, I was limited on what foods I could eat and stuff like that, which I was okay with. I was like, I just need to get on stage and perform, because that's really where my heart is. Like, it's not even about the placings; it's more so like sitting on stage and doing routines. I really like that part. So we prepped, and then this song, like I ran across the song around the same time. I'm like, damn, bro, like it really was emotional. Like even today, I was doing cardio and I just watch my routine every day now. And
Yeah.
I was watching my routine, and bro, I broke down, bro. I broke down chronic doing cardio, bro. I was like, holy shit! Like watch my routines because it's just like more than just the routine. It's everything behind it, that led to that point.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm getting emotional now. I just can't even, but
Man, no, I definitely agree, man. And being in the sport as long as I have, man, like I know you're not completely happy with your placing. Like a lot of people in the sport today, they don't hold unless you're like top five at the Olympia. Like it's not a huge deal anymore. But in my opinion, man, placing top five at any show is still a big
yeah,
deal because the same people that talk shit about someone placing 10th or 11th at the Olympia or second at a pro show, they ain't doing nothing. They're not even top 10 in their career field. So I was like, imagine, like, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
But
You look at
that's
it that
that's besides the point. But
way.
no, man, I definitely think, man, since I've been to sport, like the people that usually rise to the top is like the ones that have that perseverance, man. Like
Yeah.
you may not get to that point as quickly as you would like, but like I've seen a lot of guys, man, like they keep going, they keep pushing, they get there. Sean Carita is like the number one example of perseverance, man. Like you look at like I always forget how old he is. He's like in his I think he's in his mid 40s, and he just won his first Olympia, what, like two years ago?
Yeah.
Um,
and that gives me hope,
Yeah,
bro.
I
I see
mean,
those guys. I see those guys. A lot of guys now are really in their primes at 40 now. It's
yeah.
different. The game is different, and we're more knowledgeable of health and stuff, and how to strategically compete. And it really gives me hope. I'm only 31. I easily
Mm,
got maybe 10 years, to compete, and which like every regardless of the placing, I feel like this point right now is like my breakthrough
yeah,
because I'm getting the SIBO situated after this season through an antibiotic protocol, which is only going to take 2 weeks to clear the gut.
yeah.
And then, bro, I'm gonna be competing every year now. Like I already talked to Cameron. Like, there's no more off seasons. Like, I'm gonna improve if I improve on TRT for 2 years and not blasting until prep. Give me 8 months of a true off season where I can eat. I can do that every year. And
Yeah.
am I gonna place top 5 next year in Olympia or the year after that? No, probably not. But as long as I see that my physique is improving 1% every single year, and I'm able to get on stage and perform and really showcase being a contender as one of the best posers in the league, I'm fine with that because I'm
Okay.
building my at the end of the day, and I'm doing this for the people because there's so many people that reached out to me after that night and was like, "Bro, thank you. I needed that. Like I needed this. Like so, it's bigger than me. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I'm using my body as a driving like a tool to help other people out of low points in their life. So I'm happy I can sleep at night without winning an Olympia title or placing top 5.
Beautiful thing, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So it'll eventually get there as long as I continue to be consistent. But that's secondary. That's secondary
Yeah. No, I love it, man. I love it.
for
Shoot,
sure.
I think that's a great thing to end on, man. That's some great life advice, 100%. You want to plug anything?
Uh, Shout out my wife Malia. Shout out to you, Ruff. You've been a huge inspiration, bro. Like since day one, since we first met. Like I've been hungry, to be in that light with you, bro. And shout out to RYSE Supplements for sponsoring me and help
Congrats,
me
congrats.
revive supplements as well. Use code Jarek at checkout. Cameron for being my brother and coach since I started competing as a pro. Nick Gloff, who handles my training. KJ, who was just my secondary eyes when it came to my presentation and mandatories. Um, and everybody who's just been supporting me since day one, even when I was down and out for those 2-3 years, and nobody knew who I was. Those people who were reaching out and still checking in on me. I appreciate you because it was a tough time, and it's just a test. It's just a test to show that like you never know what somebody's going through. Always check on your people. And shout out to my baby, my daughter. She's 5 now. She was there. That was her first show that she was
Oh,
actually being able to observe and know what was going on. Because Chicago Pro, she was there and she was only like 2 years old. She didn't know the hell was going
yeah,
on.
yeah.
So she was cool. She was so happy, and she was screaming my name for the first time when I was on stage.
It's a
And
good feeling.
so it was dope, man. But yeah,
All right, all right. Until next time, I don't know. This was Opposing Breakdown.
for sure.
Peace.